Sneha, welcome. You and I landed in New York with that same confused but determined energy. The classic, I don't know what's happening, but I'm gonna make it anyway. From day one, I've seen you build your life with so much intention. You've juggled roles in strategy, product, ops, student life. Like, talk about Voltique, Birds Uncaged, NYUIT. Literally the full buffet of the New York grind. And somehow you've stayed this calm, grounded, understanding person who makes even the toughest moments feel manageable. That's why wanted you here. Not because of just the fancy roles, but because behind all of that, there's this girl who's moved countries with courage, curiosity, and actually built a life abroad. So, today we're going to talk about everything people don't tell you, which is the hustle, the friendships, networking rooms, money, loneliness, the glow ups, setbacks, all the big and the tiny wins. Everything we've lived through, everything we're still figuring out. So, welcome, Sneha.
Thank you so much for that awesome introduction, Geeta. Couldn't have asked for a better one. And
I'm
thank you for having me here.
I'm so
I'm super
excited that
excited.
you agreed and you moved your calendar and schedule. I was so looking forward to, and keep my fingers crossed. It's going to be exciting.
I am super excited for today. Like, finally, we're doing this. So,
Absolutely. Alrighty, let's get started. So let's start with the truth. Networking abroad is survival. Everyone thinks networking is cocktails and cute outfits, but it actually is panic. It's sweat and hoping the person remembers your name after 10 minutes. How did you make networking feel real and not forced?
that is one of my favorite questions because I keep talking about this to everyone intentionally, even in these networking spaces.
Great.
Networking for me always has been not where, okay, we exchange LinkedIn or we stay in
Yeah.
touch, I'll email you, or this is what I need, what do you need from me? It was never transactional. It was always
Mm,
about, oh, so you go to this university. What made you come to the US? Or why are you here? Why are you visiting if you're visiting? Or if they're a founder, it's like, oh, how did you come up with that idea? But
mm.
then there's also the space between idea to execution, which is the
Yeah.
hardest. So, how did
Yeah.
you navigate through those challenges? So, networking was about understanding the person, it was
Mm,
about building that relationship. One thing we need to understand is, of course, not everyone is our friend, but at
mm.
the same time, not everything should be transactional. So,
True.
it was about being diligent in work where, okay, I met these many people. I take their LinkedIn, take screenshots, come back home, send everyone a follow-up text like, hey, this it was great meeting you. Then if I remember something, it was great that we spoke about this club we were part of in different
Yeah.
timelines, or I love like about something that they love, maybe journaling, writing, trying different cafes in New York. So being thoughtful in the follow-up
Yeah.
as well as making sure you're supporting their journey genuinely. If they're
Yeah.
doing something, liking it wouldn't hurt you. Sharing it wouldn't hurt you if you resonate with it, of course. So, showing that support seamlessly, not
Mm,
because you have to do it, but
mm.
because you want to do it.
Yeah, I think it's
So,
the whole purpose, like intention. That's the big word. And I really liked when you mentioned that not being transactional about it, because the whole circle starts from because you have to look for an internship, because you have to land a job. That's why you need to meet such and such kind of people. And so that's how you want to make links. But I think people, if they like you, then that's how it starts. And it starts with authenticity, right? And I also feel the same thing about networking. It's about creating a relation and being genuinely curious about what the person is doing and thinking more about the role, and then seeing if it aligns with your skill set and do you want to pursue it, but genuinely asking the questions that make sense, and not just for the stuff of it, like how mostly people do, because you have to show there,
exactly.
so then just ask anything.
And it's also pretty visible, right? It's like they are
Yes.
also meeting a lot of people, and if it's the same, all of us are using the same tools. So
Yeah.
if we are using it from the books, it's pretty visible. It's all robotic. It's like the same way resumes are like being made right now, or
Yeah.
LinkedIn posts, or any content that is going out. It feels robotic. So it's
And
the trick
you can
is to,
feel if the question has been chat GPT'd or something, or
yes,
it's very obvious. So then
yeah.
yeah, you made the right point. Do not do it like that. Generally go through, spend the time to figure out. And I feel even if you haven't really researched, because it was a networking event, you're probably going to meet a lot of people. I think just being genuinely curious and asking, please tell me what you do, that also shows a sign of an interest and wanting to know about the person instead of thinking about whether such person will be able to give me an opportunity or not.
Yes. Oh, and there's one more thing. When they're sharing it with you, if you're constantly searching the room because you want to work the room,
Yeah.
it is disrespectful of their time, the
Mm.
opposite person's time. It's like even they know you want to go around the room, you know they also want to do the same thing. So being respectful and actually listening to what they're sharing, if you have any thoughtful questions, do it.
Yeah.
And I think the more events people go to, or the more of these gatherings or conferences that people go to, you will figure out your style. You will understand, okay, 30 minutes I can work the room. 1 hour I will need where I'm spacing out
Yeah.
from one person to another. So you need, it's like A/B testing or experimenting, right?
Yeah.
You need to go to a bunch of events, meet a lot of people to understand your style. I think you must have done this as well, where you
But
know
we
what
were
questions
on
you
a
want to
sprint.
ask.
I feel like we were on a sprint all the time till the time I was there, and then I've seen you, and that's how we connected for our shared interest of networking and wanting to meet new people and learn from them. And you and I both agree with this that we were not very just confined to our own domain kind of events. We wanted to meet people from all different sectors because we believe that everyone has a rub on your personality and you learn something from everybody. So it doesn't really have to be confined to your own domain, right?
Exactly. You brought a good point because take a business or any company,
Yeah,
it has every function. And to understand people and other functions, you need to talk to these people
yeah,
firsthand. So even confining ourselves and is like restricting ourselves. There will be times where you need to have like this tunnel vision, and if
yeah,
you're working on something, okay, this is the sector that I'm in, this is what I'm doing. And that is a different space where, okay, now you're only going to certain sector based events or certain space based events. But initially, it can be where if you're like, oh, I want to explore, I'm trying to figure out, do it.
mm,
Just show up everywhere in your university, wherever you are based. There's always everything happening around you. You
yeah,
just have to ask
yeah,
and be open to listening and
yeah.
be open to showing up. I
True, true.
feel that is it with me when it comes to networking, where you
Yeah,
just
I
have to be
mean,
open to it.
the real you actually comes out if you're genuinely interested in being a part of the event or showing up. And even the small little roles that you do, even if you're just managing the name tags or just attending, making the guest list or the excels, I think each and every role has something to contribute to the overall picture. It tells you discipline, it tells you people management and things like that, which we tend to discount because everyone's looking for the big ticket roles because it looks impressive on the resume. But I think every role ties, right?
Yes, it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
One day, if you want to do something of your own, and when you're starting from scratch, you are everything. Like
You
you
are.
literally are everything.
This is such a good line.
So you have to know, even if you don't want to, you will have to. You will
Yeah. Yeah.
eventually. So even initially, if that's what I meant being open to, is where
Yeah.
nothing is small or too small or too big for you. It goes both ways of the spectrum,
Yeah.
right? No job is too small for you, no job is too big for you. Both will have a learning gap. You just have to figure that out where it fits. And even volunteering at events, if you want to get into the right rooms, there are
Mm.
certain events are always looking for volunteers. People
Mm.
people need people, right? even
This is a
jobs or
good thing.
anything.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
mean,
people
yeah.
need another people.
Yeah.
Companies need people. So it's
Company.
like you need to figure out.
And this is such a good point that you brought up, because I remember when I was there and how we would scout events and how we would see that whatever is happening, just we just want to be there. But then there were a lot of students who would say that we don't even get to know when these events are happening, and all the events that you attend, do they even contribute to your line of work or your line of program? But this is what we're saying, right? It's just like the city, talk about New York, has so much to offer. Are you interested in putting yourself out there? Because once you do, you will always be on that email list. And then again, like we said, people know people. You start with one, you get to another, and it's just your intention, perseverance, and genuinely wanting to help others will get you to the right people eventually.
Yes. It's not always like, oh, now I've done this for you. What are
Yeah,
you doing for me? It's
yeah,
not like that. It doesn't work like that.
yeah,
You, if you feel like you want to do it, or if you think that is something that you can do it. Because it's always proof of work, right? It is where we do by showing, like we show by doing it,
mm.
not just telling that you can do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think with everything evolving right now as well, how you look at things, it's like your online presence or how you show up
yeah.
on LinkedIn. I am a huge supporter of LinkedIn, huge fan. And on Instagram, people are always watching you. It's like even though
People,
they're not watching you, it's a
but
good
they're
in a good
always.
way, not in a bad way where people are watching, but it's if it's like your friends or family who do not support you, it's fine. It's there is this thing, right? लोग तो कहते रहेंगे, लोग का काम
Mm,
है कहना.
correct.
So it's about how much you want that to affect
Yeah,
you, how much
yeah,
of that you want to take in and endure.
yeah,
Where it is like you draw a line where you know that this is the reason I'm putting myself out there. It's not because I want to become viral or it's not because I want to get these many impressions or all these metrics. But at the end of the day, it is also where you are showing people who you are even before they get to talk to you.
yeah,
And this is not to share that, oh, you have to be vigilant, you have to go into this
yeah,
analysis paralysis, but it is for you to be free and know that this is an opportunity
yeah.
where you get to show people who you are.
Yeah, and I feel
So,
like this is such a good point, and we were always told about that when we were in our classes, that utilize these platforms to show the person who you really are. And like we said, a lot of companies, a lot of recruiters, they're also watching, seeing your personality, having a viewpoint and having a perspective. These are good platforms to showcase what you think about a brand, think about product or stuff like that. And a lot of times students shy away from doing it because we feel like we're not perfect. How are we going to be perceived? But I think that's the whole beauty of it, because you will also realize what you like and how you want to present yourself, and you'll fine tune it over the period of time. And it doesn't have to be really perfect because you're a student. That's why you're here. That's why you're building your personality. And we chase perfectionism so much, then we really forget how to live and breathe the process.
yes.
I think we love this topic. We've gone above and beyond on
I,
networking.
I was just thinking about it. There are a lot of other things we wanted to speak about.
All right,
Maybe
let's
we
move on
should.
to the next one, which is, let's talk about friendships abroad. I feel it's genuinely a tricky business because you're going to meet like 100 people, whether networking, classrooms, wherever, and not the direct numbers, but I feel like even if you meet like 100 people, but let's just say three stick. So how do you figure out who's the real person versus who's an event friend, and then who actually is your safe space? Because I think we definitely need people like that. Sometimes we tend to consider even the acquaintances like our friends, and then we get disheartened because you don't really get the kind of support. So, if a student or a person is working out there, how do they differentiate between these categories so they're easy to deal? They can manage things easily.
Right. This is a question that is very personal to me because it was like as a kid,
Mm.
I never had a lot, like I had zero friends, honestly. This might come as a surprise to people who know me here, but I
Yeah.
had zero friends. And as I was growing up, like during my 10th grade, ninth grade, that's when I made like solid friends.
Mm.
So for me, it was where I was always introverted, calm, and never talking to anyone. There was this one moment during my undergrad where that shift happened, where I started going to events within my city. And I want to actually appreciate or like call, how do I put it? Give a huge shout out to this organization called Wiz of Vizag
Okay,
and
shout out.
ISEC. You met ISEC, right? One of
Yes.
the so these two places transformed me so much that I got the courage to be myself, to
Oh,
know
wow.
that being myself is okay,
Mm.
and talking to people.
Mm.
So that's where I learned there are acquaintances, there are friends,
Yeah.
and there are friends for different types of things, right?
Yeah.
If you've watched this movie, I think you did, Dear Zindagi,
Yeah.
where Dr. Jug says, we put a lot
Yeah.
of pressure on one kind of relationship. But why is it like that? You can have friends for who you go for coffee with. You can have
Yeah.
friends who talk about books. You can have friends who talk about maybe physics if you are into physics or astrophysics, something like that. It's like, as you
Compartmentalize and
children,
know your people in whichever sphere they fit into, and do
yes,
not have expectations about everything from one person because it gets overwhelming and sometimes you don't really
yes,
connect on that front. It's such a good point you've brought. Probably I never really thought about it. I mean, it's a good one. It eases. It eases now that I think about. Yeah.
yes. Do not put too much pressure into one person or
Yeah.
anyone, It takes time to ease into it because friendships are not like, oh, we met and boom, we're good. It is
Yeah.
a journey, right? Over
Yeah.
the years, it builds. They see you when it comes to a safe space. These people who are your constants and stick through you, they see
Yeah.
you through your journey where maybe you were this person who like, oh, I'm gonna become a painter or I'm gonna become a singer or I'm gonna go into building rockets or something like that. There are different phases we have, not in a
Yeah.
bad way. I respect every profession. And it's like we realize that maybe that is not our end goal. Maybe
Yeah.
we are meant for something else. Maybe you want to do customized gifting or start a podcast. Or it's like there are different things that we
Yeah.
might leap into later, right? So it's
Yeah.
like friends who understand that life happens, we figure ourselves out more, then we go into these different directions. And you're also one person, and you have your professional life, personal life, and in personal life, family, friends, and there is career, education,
Yeah.
things you do that get you sustained, like
Mm.
finances, things you want to do but are not able to do yet because of different constraints. Maybe you need to get your finances sorted first. So you're waiting for that where you're just hustling on the weekends or you're working after your work where you want to get that little project done so
Yeah.
that it builds momentum towards.
Yeah.
So friends who get this journey are your safe space.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
coming back to the question, how do we know that? I think we will never know that. It's all
Mm.
lived experiences.
Mm.
The trick is to ease into it
Mm.
slowly. Do not put
Hold
pressure
yourself.
on anything. Do not be very judgmental. Understand the same way you feel there's a lot going on for you. You feel that life is heavy.
Yeah.
Similarly, the other person is going through something you do not know. So
Yeah.
be kind to yourself and them as well,
Yeah.
right?
Good point.
And
Good point.
one more thing that helps is people have different ways that they communicate, different ways that they live, different ways they are comfortable.
Mm.
So, some people, let's say something happens, maybe in personal life, or they didn't get a job that they really wanted to, that they were working towards.
Mm-hmm.
And there's person A, person B.
Mm.
Person A might be someone who needs that comfort, who needs their friend beside them to just, go through it. Or maybe
Mm.
they want to go to Bryant Park or go to Dumbo, take the ferry. I know I'm giving a lot of New York references.
I am actually thinking myself being there.
I know, right? It's like, or they are going to Chinatown, Koreatown, trying different food if food is their therapy and they want their friend to be with them.
Yeah.
That is one type of person. And the other person, B, is like they need their space. They just need a day or two where they want to process their own emotions. Then later they will need you. So it is not about deciding for them that, oh, you need this, you need this, you need this, so I'm going to be there. It's about understanding that okay, this is how they process emotions, this is how they do things. So, how can I be there for them? So, when coming to friendships, how you find them is basically being first being the friend
Yeah.
you want or you feel like you need in your life because you attract the energy you give out, right?
Are we talking about energy here? Which is so important, right? But
Yes.
good points that you've made, and I'm sure whoever is going to listen or watch this episode will get so many cues. And I think we're building the kind of episode which is going to be so much more meaningful and helpful for prospective students also. That what you
Yes.
think and what really happens, there can be a difference, but this is how you lead with intention and kind of build your footing into the city and make the most out of this experience. So I'm glad we're doing a conversation. Should we move to the third topic now?
Yes.
All
We
right,
have
let's talk
to
about,
make sure.
yeah, we have to talk about hustle, which is really not the Instagram hustle, which we're also trying to build there. But, I feel like hustle abroad is not really cute, how we glamorize the hustle culture. It's actually like crying at 2 a.m. and still showing up at 9 a.m. like nothing happened. So, how did you build your career across Voltique, Birds and Cage, and why you out IT without really losing your insanity? It was a lot. It is a lot, actually.
Thank you for that question. When I was doing this because I was almost this close to crying at 2 a.m. last night because I'm like, oh, this has to be done, this has to be done. I have to wake up tomorrow
Yeah.
morning early. So I'm like, I still woke up. That's when I'm like, hey, 10 minutes, I need.
Yeah.
So coming to hustle, and it is an entirely different thing, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna give three small examples so that I do not share
Yeah, go
overly
for
with
it.
that.
Yeah.
But let's start with NYIT.
Mm.
I came here, zero friends, zero relatives. I knew no one. All I knew was New York.
Yeah.
I want to be here. And I was literally crying before coming here, where it was like, am I ever going to find a house? Am
Yeah.
I ever going to find friends? How am
I
I
still
going to
get chills
survive?
of the day. Yeah. Same actually. For you, so you saying you didn't have a relative. I'm actually going to tell you the first time before moving in, I came with my brother. And I was still crying with him because even though he was there with me, I was still so overwhelmed because I was like, the city moves so fast. How am I going to find a place, let alone people? So, completely agree. But carry on.
Can't keep up, right? It's like we feel like we can't keep up, but we somehow manage to keep up. That's where the
Yeah.
hustle comes in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like that was me. And when I came here, there was a welcome week. As you know, every university has a welcome week and these all these
Yeah.
welcome activities and events. Make sure you're going to those because that's
Yes.
where you meet different people.
Yes.
And there, that one week where I was like, every day I was going and showing up, talking to people, even though I knew no one, there was this fear where, how are they going to perceive me? Are they going to think I'm like being too much? But at the end of the day, it always came out to the first, like every point that we discussed before about networking, friendships, showing up, where how you're putting yourself out there, how you're talking to other people, how you're making others feel.
Hmm.
So being intentional in the way you communicate
Mhm.
and at New York Tech, as you know, getting an on-campus opportunity is something all of us really strive for within the
Oh,
first
yeah.
semester or second semester. So for me, it was like, oh, I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna make sure I check everything that's on campus. So my hustle would during university stage was where okay, I'm going to every event that is happening. I'm sitting in every class with ears wide open for anything that the professor might say that this is there in the university you can try out. So my
I
first
feel like
on-campus
there's this
opportunity,
one word which is like you got to do it. Once you come,
yeah,
it's not hunky dory, it's real stuff. Get into it with
yeah.
the intent that you are going to make it work. Bottom line. That's it.
Adding to what you just said, it reminds me Nike's just do it. Just do
Just do
it.
it.
So it's like do it. Because there's nothing that you're losing here, right? You're in your first semester, you want to learn, you're learning, you want to explore, you're exploring. So just keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
but also have audit checks where is everything that I'm doing is in the right direction or how can I reassess? So the first example is the on-campus opportunity where I was applying everywhere, all these different departments. I was emailing, applying through Handshake, emailing and everything. And there was this role that was filled and I didn't have feedback.
Mm.
And I really wanted to work with the career services department because they are super chill. If you ever go to NYIT, go meet career services department. They are going to be super friendly with you. So I walked in and I walked into the office and I was like, hey, I applied last week, 2 weeks ago. I saw that the role was filled, but I did not get any feedback. Is it possible that you could share like what went wrong with is there a problem with my resume? Is there something that I shared for the questions? I literally asked that because one, soon I'm going to be looking for internships. Two, I want to know, like, is there something that I could do? I could have done better so
Sure.
that I can improve. So one part of hustle is where you're constantly learning through feedback and you
Hmm.
always have to ask. Three letters, ASK, ask.
Yeah.
Because people won't share if they don't know what you want. So you
Hmm.
have to ask for feedback actively. If you have a conversation with someone or you're having a coffee chat with someone, at the end of it, ask them, hey, do you think the communication during the email that I did with you or during the entire last few minutes, anything could be improved? One, they would either give you pointers that they liked or something that you did well, which is a cue for you to keep continuing to do that. Two,
Yeah.
they might give you feedback
Hmm.
because sometimes there will be low, like there are highs and lows, and sometimes your energy might be a little off. And
Hmm.
it's okay. You're human, right? You're not a robot, like where you're always on it. So when you get that feedback, it's not only about understanding and getting the feedback. There is second part to it where you act on it.
Hmm.
So, what happened after that conversation? Second semester, they hired me within the department.
I
So
think you know
that
what the
was,
thing is. A lot of times, students, we, I think they tend to feel sad that they didn't get an opportunity, and then they don't. I don't think many people really go for a feedback, and even if they would get the feedback, it's not really rooted in the ways of improving on the things you lagged or you could do better. It rather goes in the direction of me feeling bad or what they didn't like or why I couldn't make it. So instead of that sad party, take yourself out of this and really start working on yourself, because this is a cue. That's how you'll move and groom. And like, you landed an opportunity in the second semester just because of taking the initiative of reaching out and saying, hey, what did I do wrong? Like, how can I improvise? So I think that's a solid point you made.
yes, it's like you need to know, and it is also shifting your mindset towards resilience. If you're talking specifically about New York, or not even New York, if you're an international student specifically,
Yeah.
it's where you need to build this resilience into yourself because it's not just academics, it's not just career or searching for a new opportunity. It's also managing your budget or managing your
Which we're going to talk about.
everyday,
Yeah.
yes, like everyday, day-to-day life, where
Yeah.
figuring out your whole ecosystem because at home, like personally, I never stayed outside home back in India. So it
Hmm.
was never like, oh, I need to figure out groceries or I need to figure out my budget. Because if I was staying in a hostel for my undergrad or something, maybe it would have given a little more insight into it.
Yeah.
But since it was my first time, and for a lot of people, it might be a first time, maybe. I don't want to
Yeah.
pre-assume, but
Yeah.
it could be that. So it is
You just
building resilience
learn
into
life
yourself.
skills, I feel.
Yes, and
And I
it's
think
not
it's
like
a
someone
good thing
who's,
also, I feel, right? It makes us independent. But again, we're getting deviated. The point was about hustle. So you've said that
oh,
you have to hustle. But then the good
yes,
point was, Audit your hustle. Keep checking if it's leading to the place where you're meant to, and how can you improvise yourself along the way.
Yes, exactly.
Alrighty, perfect. Moving on to the next point, which is about time management, because you and I both know New York runs faster than our thoughts. Like you're always juggling multiple roles. I think for me, now that I think about it, I was juggling life, assignments, IMA, internships. How do you create time when the city actually gives you zero amount of time because you're always running?
Yes. It feels like you're doing something and you try to come up for air and there's nothing. You
Yeah, yeah.
get sucked back into something else. So, with respect to time, you need to be intentional about it. It's where,
Mm.
okay, you have a list of tasks this week. So you know these have to be done. It's also like prioritizing your
Did you do
tasks,
calendar
right?
management like Google Calendars or something? Like have your
Yes.
calendar sorted a week advance or a yesterday?
Yes. It's also having it sorted a week advance. Make sure you're looking at your entire week. Okay, these are what are here. So you know in your mind that you need to wake up by a certain time and you need to show up here at this time, but you also have a meeting after that, maybe. So
Mm.
you need to ensure you're there way prior so that you're all set. So,
Mm.
with respect to time management, I believe it's about sorting your tasks into different buckets. Where
Mm.
one, if you have to be there in person, you have to be there. That's it. There's no other alternative to it. So you need to figure out, okay, I am going there in person for a specific task. It takes 1 hour. Now you have to, and after that you have a busy day. Now go search for cafes near you or search for co-working spaces. So be mindful about where you're showing up, where your time is going. And with respect to calendar, I see one thing within students where people do not check a lot of their calendars or organize their Google calendars,
Mm.
which is where you can literally task everything. Okay, assignment, it'll take 1 hour. If you want to be super, super pre planned, just put it on your calendar and
Yeah.
make sure to have 15 or 10-minute buffers in between because even if one meeting is running late, you know
Mm.
you can show up for the other one without being like, hey, I need some time. Like
Yeah.
once or twice, it's fine, but not every time. So,
Have a
with respect
provision
to
in
time,
it already.
yes. And make sure you have time blocks for deep work, where if you're doing something very intuitive, which needs a lot of energy from you, if it's like a project or something you want to start or something you want to really put your energy into, block out distractions. Like, okay, next 2 hours solid, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to do this. Bring everything you want, like coffee, food, chocolates, whatever you feel like you want to eat, have it beside you, block that time out. And your phone, what you can do is put it on work mode where you do not get any notifications,
Mm.
any calls. Put it on work mode so that you need to optimize it in that way. Work
Yeah.
mode, D&D. So it's all about optimizing your calendars, your phones, your distractions, potential distractions in a
Yeah.
way you're able to focus.
Yeah.
So
And we always feel like, okay, it's just like one text and it's just like one check to Instagram, and you end up wasting so much time. And not just wasting, I mean, it also breaks you in the middle of your concentration, and then you're like back to square one. Okay, let me start it all over from where I began. So it's a
exactly.
good point. Put it off for a while till the time you're working, and there's nothing that urgent unless it is, and then you should already have it on your calendar. But of course, you're going to cover a lot of things, and there's still going to be some contingency that comes up. So you've got to be that flexible still, maintaining,
You will
managing. Yeah, because you really
you
can't.
will know, right?
Yeah,
Like
everything under
when
control.
you know something is going to come up, or when you know that day is someone
That's
is
right.
going to reach out to you, you will know. And there is this one thing I learned from this book called Atomic Habits,
Mm.
which is habit stacking. So I journal every day in the morning and in the night, gratitude journaling. This actually, with respect to time management, this keeps me grounded even in the morning and in the end, where it is where I write, this is how I want my day to go, or this is the energy I'm bringing into the day. At the
So we
end,
need to
I'm
think
like,
about it.
yes,
Like it. I mean, getting back to that topic, I think you and I, when we met at that coffee shop, Angelina, that's when you mentioned about journaling. And this was also one of our common topics, and we felt very passionate about um, energy. It's all about that. It's all about being intentional about that. Good
Yes.
points you're bringing, Sneha. I really like it. I like the discussion where it's going. Let's talk about opportunities, and let's actually break the myth. People think opportunities fall from the sky, but it's actually not. Like, we genuinely hunted them like we were on a safari. So, how does one get into the right rooms? And most importantly, and this I think is a favorite question of the entire episode for now that I feel, how do you make sure that people remember you even when you're gone?
This is my favorite question. It is where this I learned after going to a lot of events, lot of conferences,
Do
which
tell.
is you will never know which is the right or wrong room for you in the first go.
Mm,
But when you go there within some time, you will know. You know, there is this intuition where you will understand, okay, is this the right room or not? And now you reverse engineer it, where it is like, how do you find the right room?
mm,
Starts from what are you seeking out of this room in the first place, right? So if you're looking for connections,
mm,
you need to seek out. It's always not about these networking events, right? There are different kinds of events. I feel like there is this myth where all the events are for networking, but
mm,
the event space and landscape is also evolving so much where there are intimate dinners happening,
mm.
small scale gatherings happening, limited, exclusive events happening.
Yeah.
So it is about doing your homework by doing your research, where okay, you want to go into marketing or product. I'm also on this journey. I'm not saying I'm some kind of expert, but I'm
Yeah.
also still figuring it out. So it's like if you want to go there, first you figure. Personally, I love product and marketing and analytics. So I'm trying to figure out a sweet spot between them. And I love talking to people. You must have
Yeah.
seen that today where I'm deviating so much. So it's like, let's say you're focusing on product. So
Mm,
go on to Luma, go on to Eventbrite, or just Google it, events in product, or check your company portal, like your university portal, or
yeah.
check out on LinkedIn for your alumni. Because if they're already in these spaces, they're going to be hosting these events or they're going to be part of these events. So cold DM them. You know, it might look like a lot of work, but you have to do that work,
Not gonna
right?
lie, it actually is a lot of work, but I think it gets into your rhythm because there is no
Yeah.
other way. There is no other way, and sometimes, well, there are days when you feel like, oh my god, it's a lot. Then maybe just take off for that day and do it tomorrow, right?
Yes. It's not that you stop entirely. You
Yeah,
have to like do it again. Just give yourself, do not be too tough on yourself. Give
yeah,
yourself a day, get back to it.
yeah.
So, being in the right rooms is where you need to figure out first your why. Why are you in that room?
Mm,
Second, have good questions in your hand, which are
mm,
intentional, which bring out the other person's true self, where
yeah.
they enjoy. People love talking about themselves, right?
This is such a good point.
So when you ask them an open-ended question,
Mm,
they start talking about themselves. So now you are not directly going and asking, "Oh, I saw you are working in
yeah,
this company and in this specific sector. Can you tell me more about it?" So now
yeah,
the conversation is only work, only
yeah,
professional. But when you ask an open-ended question, so, oh, I'm curious to know what made you get into CPG,
yeah.
or how did you get into this company? What was
Mm,
that specific moment, or how did it happen? That is an open-ended question. Now they're talking. From what they're talking, there are cues for you where, oh, this person likes this. And you understand that, okay.
yeah. I think going
And
back to the same topic where you mentioned like attend a lot of events because you'll find your own personality. And
yes,
how do you find cues in the conversation? Again, goes back to because you've attended so many, now you will be able to read the people well, find interesting points which can build on the conversation. And most
Yes.
importantly, even when you're asking questions to others, I think it also tells you a lot about yourself. Are you feeling interested in the conversation that you're having, which will give you a prompt whether you're actually interested in the domain or not? Because are you liking those questions?
Yes.
Are you liking their lifestyle and things like that?
Yes. And if there is a if it has to be a single answer, because I know we are talking about how and why and everything, but if anyone is looking for a single answer, what are these right rooms? How do I find these right rooms?
Mm.
If you have to make it really simple, do an experiment on yourself where it is like take make it as like a timeline, 20 events. This is my favorite part. I do circle and a timeline. I keep
Okay.
blocking that off or ticking that off where if I need to reach a goal or if I need to do something, I make it into a timeline. I make it exciting for me, right? Where it is
Mm.
like a reward kind of thing. Okay, I'm doing this, next this. So if you want to get into the right rooms, maybe take a bet on yourself.
Mm.
Your goal is 15 events and you literally be very specific about it. You look into, okay, you want to become a business analyst. Now business analyst is where you want to analyze different sectors, and if you want to figure out or explore what sector you want to get into, you go into all the sectors that you want first. Now
Mm.
you're confused, so now go on to this again, go to Luma is my favorite. That's why I keep calling it out. But Luma, or go on to Google and search this
You
sector,
also
what
do
event.
Eventbrites, na? Eventbrites and meetups, and there's so many.
Yes, there are so many. Like I've been using Luma lately so much, so I keep telling that, but definitely there are so many. Eventbrite, Partyful, or
Party.
because A16Z used Partyful during Tech Week this year in New York.
That's what I was trying
So
to recall. I said, what was that? Was it Tech Week? And now that you mentioned, yeah, they were all on
yes,
Partyful. I still get invites.
exactly. So it's like you pick one event, be
Yeah.
super clear. Okay, this event, this event. So you have 15 events, you know which
Mm.
sector they are, when they are happening, and you're going there. And
Yeah.
now it's not like you understand the sector, right? And the language of each sector. So be prepared with questions. Be
Yeah.
prepared with your phone. Maybe do a screenshot of your LinkedIn and put it on as your wallpaper. And it's like, okay, now you can scan my LinkedIn so that it is easier for them to connect and that is out of the way.
Mm.
If that is something that you're planning to do, that is out of your way firsthand itself. And now be intentional. Again, it all goes back to the first question where we
Yeah. Yeah.
discussed so much about. And now, after 15 days or 15 events, because it's not like every day you're meeting one, do not overexhaust yourself because you have other things to do as well,
Yeah.
like assignments or
Assignments, midterms.
studying.
Yeah. Class.
Yes. So know that a lot of things are going to happen. You need to coexist.
Yeah.
So it is also about preparing yourself that, okay, after my class, I'm going to go here. Or before my class, there is this event. So going to go here, then go to my class. So you need to be prepared, right? Doing your research, being prepared, and showing up at these events. After all these are done, maybe have a template for yourself where, okay, from this event, what did I learn? What did I like? What did I not like? What was off-putting for me? Now you know
Very interesting.
the right rooms, or okay, this is where I thrive, this is where I'm comfortable.
Mm.
So it's about taking a bet on yourself,
Yeah.
experimenting with yourself. Now you know, okay, this is the place. You must
Yeah.
have felt it, right? Where in some spaces and talking to some people, it's like, oh, I love this. So you
Yeah.
start going to the same the events that are being hosted by the same person or same company again and again, because you know that is something you enjoy and that is somewhere you're thriving.
Yeah.
So
Um,
does that answer the right
you
rooms
did.
question?
But I feel like we also have to touch upon the second part, which is how do you make sure people remember you even after you've left the room? Because that I think is the most important part. We keep focusing on meeting as many people and attending a lot of events, but the intent is for all the effort that you're putting, it also should culminate into an opportunity because that's a whole reason why all the effort is going into it, right? So
Yes.
how do you make sure that the people still remember you? Are there cues to it? Are there ways people can do it? um yeah, tell us more about this.
Okay, so there are three parts to it, right? One, accept that everyone you meet is not going to be in touch with you. Simple.
Yeah.
Let's say you meet 100 people, maybe you'll only be in touch with 5 people and be
Hmm.
really in touch, like really, really in constant back and forth conversation with one person.
Hmm.
From 100, it came down to one.
Can
So
you
you need
imagine?
to,
Oh.
yes, you need to understand and accept first thing, not everyone you meet is going to be like your potential long-term person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not in a bad way. It's to understand that life happens, everyone has their own priorities. So
Yeah.
first,
And
accept
it's
it.
the drill you have to do.
Yes. And second is when you're speaking, you get an understanding that, okay, if this is a company that I want to work at, or if this is a person I want to collaborate with later, it could be always two different things, right? It's like you either are collaborating with them or you're staying in touch or you're interested in the same sector. There are a lot of ways in which a relationship can uh, flow into.
Yeah.
So, what you need to ensure is it again goes back to being intentional. Send up a really thoughtful text. And
Mm.
even when you're talking, right, in person or in an online event, make sure you lock down that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Because one thing you have to understand as a student, we have to understand is there are professionals who might be receiving hundreds, thousands of texts on LinkedIn, email, with everything going on with AI, like like Apollo AI or all these different tools that are there to email people, message people. Imagine the same person is getting 100 different texts, same format, just few changes here and there.
Yeah.
So lock that few minutes in when you're talking and be very, like proactive where you're sending a calendar invite or
Yeah.
taking their email and doing it. So get it done right then and there. It's like this, right? One is if you give yourself 30 days to move along, you take 30 days. If you give yourself 3 days, it's gonna be 3 days, 3 hours, 3 hours. And sending a calendar invite won't take 30 minutes. It's
Yeah.
hardly a 20-second job where you get the email right then and there and you're sending a calendar invite. Or maybe they have to look at their calendar, what they have for the week. Make sure you're following up with them. Follow up
Hmm.
is the key. You have to understand that they're busy professionals and things slip through cracks and they might forget. What your task is to being persistent enough but not pushy.
Yeah.
You're
There's a
not like,
difference.
I need this, I need this. It's not like I need this. It's about what can I do best to accommodate your time,
Hmm.
right? And if you're being flexible enough to accommodate to their schedule, as well as seeing if it's also being very proactive. If you
Hmm.
live in the same area and there's someone who is an in-person person, make sure you lock in that cafe and the time to go there.
Yeah.
So it's all about locking in the time to meet with that person, ask them the right questions, make the best use of those 15 minutes, take notes, send up a follow up email. The key is always in follow up, is where
True.
they remember you.
Yeah. I am
Because,
actually. No, go on. Finish your thought.
yeah, because in the last two, even at Voltique or Birds Uncaged, the only reason they remembered me and both of the founders are beautiful, they said this as well. It's like, it's because of the follow up. I am a crazy follow up person. I'm like always. And there is a line on how many times you follow up and in what gaps
Yeah,
you follow
I
up.
mean, I agree with you on that point. I think people appreciate perseverance because that is something that distinguishes you from the rest. Not many students, people for that matter, are persistent in chasing and requesting and then getting the time on the calendar. But it's also like, how are you coming across? Some that appreciation because you've been so adamant in getting those 30 minutes on the calendar can also look upon can be turned into something which is like the person is like super pushy, like I don't want their energy or stuff like that. So it's a thin line of
Exactly.
how do you differentiate between the two. But
You
I am
need to yes.
I actually have a different so back in the day this is and it kind of worked out for me. um A lot of times at the networking events, you'll see people wearing blacks, browns, beiges, like softer colors and official colors. The strategy I followed kind of worked out a lot of times with me is that I would pick the boldest color. Like, genuinely, this color that I'm wearing, I have worn this in networking events. I have even worn like the strikest of the prints. And the thing is, I think so. The strategy which I was following, which was that it easily distinguishes you and it leaves an impression. And the colors, people absorb colors very quickly. So, and it could also be a conversation builder that when you follow up with them, and then you can probably just start on a lighter note saying the bright fluorescent color t shirt that I was wearing, and they'll be quick to recall, okay, who that girl was. I remember there was this one event, and actually, you and I met for the first time at that conference, and I was wearing a yellow colored dress, winter dress.
Yes.
So there was this one time when I was wearing actually a yellow dress, and that actually stood out because I remember I reached out, and he or she, whosoever that person was, they actually said that, yes, we do recall you were the person in yellow. So, see, these are the distinguishers. If you use them strategically, because not many people know about these ones. And also, these are like the bold choices that you make because it's cutting you from the crowd already. So one was that.
Yes.
The third thing that I wanted to make was the fact that at a lot of networking events, each time the event gets over, there are so many students who reach out to the guest speaker and everybody wants a time. And you want to talk to them and have a picture for a LinkedIn profile and stuff like that. Certain things that I would do is that I would stand at the very end. Because the thing is, the guest speaker tends to forget initial people because there's so many of us around. But the one who stays at the very end, now they've had the conversations with everybody. So they're now much in a relaxed mode because now they're walking out of the event. That's a good time when you reach out and you strike up a conversation. And chances are that you would still be remembered because you didn't got covered up in the first lot and you were at the very end. So it's easier to follow up and then say, I was the last one who happened to have your time, and I would request the time on your calendar. I think those are some of the things that worked out for me, kind of. So maybe somebody can benefit
Third
from
point
that.
of the learning for me as well, because I feel like when they are at the end, they're already in the go mode where they want to leave
Yeah.
now. And this is a new learning for me. But I think adding on to the third point, it's also being thoughtful of
Mhm.
them, where you mention that you understand that they might be busy or like that they might be exhausted already.
Yeah. And
And
actually, talking about a real incident that happened, the same conference, forgetting the name of that conference, but there were a lot of marketeers in that conference. And I
the
actually met,
AMA event.
what?
It was American Marketing Association
No, it
Association.
wasn't that. It wasn't that.
A
Um,
different one?
yeah, it was a different one. And I remember I met the gentleman right towards the end. And that's when he said that I'm just walking out. And I told him, I said, that was my reason to stand here when you walk out. And he appreciated that because he said that, okay, I like the thought process you had of distinguishing yourself because everybody else from that side, no matter the interesting question or the intelligent questions, they've all got it covered because my energy was just moving in the same direction. So I wasn't able to distinguish between people. But towards the end was a smart way of highlighting yourself and also giving me a breather till the time I walked from there. I'm getting that energy back. So this was like one of the things that worked out, and I thought I should share. Moving on. All right, so we know that the budgeting in New York is like a villain of the story. And let's be honest, budgeting abroad is an extreme sport. So, how did you balance living, surviving, socializing, and still contributing to friendships without actually going broke?
This is a tricky question for me because I am someone who does a lot of impulsive stuff, but it's
I
not
think we
even
all
like
do.
I'm purchasing.
Yeah,
Sorry?
I think we all do that.
Yes, it's not like I'm purchasing some new stuff or anything. Most of it goes into food and trying new food.
Okay.
I'm guilty of that. So it is like, for me, it started with one. Let's say you have X amount of money, maybe, let's say 1,000. I'm putting the
Mm,
budget very minimal.
mm.
You know that in New York it is not possible.
Yeah.
But if you're like, if you are on a strict budget, I understand. because there are different circumstances and there are different realities
Yeah.
that we need to align with. So it's like, let's say my budget was 1,000 for the month. So I know my rent, half of it goes for rent and utilities maybe. And now I know this much is left. So these are like your for sure expenses, right?
Hmm.
Your rent is something you can't skip on. You have to get it through by first.
Hmm.
Utilities, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Groceries, you can't go, like without food. So if you're someone who cooks, that is a different thing, and you will know this is what you need.
Hmm.
So with budgeting, it was always like taking the essentials out first. And if you had a saving goal, or if you want to save, or you want to invest that money somewhere, whatever you want to do with uh, some amount, keep it aside.
What we're trying to say is that you got to be intentional about what your essentials are going to be every week, and then take that into consideration and see where you want to spend and where you can optimize the campus resources and those networking lunches. And we've all
Yeah.
done that, right? Like they used to be
Yes.
such a great help. And then each and every day that you have those events which are happening at the school curriculars, and you can make up for at least one meal a day from them.
Yes. And there's also social life. You need to know when you can and like, when you can go out, or it's not stopping yourself from going out, but maybe cutting down on some expenses. Like you're there, but you don't really have to get that food or get that drink. Maybe you're
Yeah.
just there. You want to socialize, you want to make friends. So maybe have food at home, go there, have fun, come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So it's
Smart
also
decisions.
it's also where you're like, okay, now I know that this is where I'm going. So it is knowing your essentials, putting them aside,
Hmm.
and then knowing how much you want to save, putting that aside. And now
Hmm.
you have a budget. In that, you plan accordingly. In that, you be like the lunches that you mentioned. Okay, now here, there's a meal. And later, I'm gonna go here. So it all depends on how you want to spend your life
Yeah. Because
or
I
how
feel
you.
like this question would also help a lot of students in terms of, at one point in time we're saying network, 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 and then people might be like, "Oh, well, even if I request somebody for a coffee chat, it's still going to be expensive because coffee is everywhere still." But like that is why we're countering also by saying that yes, you've got a network, yes, you got to be there and requesting people, cold emailing and reaching out. But then you've also got to be cautious. If you're spending money on the coffee or socializing, then eat it at home. There are ways of balancing. You just got to be smart and cognizant of where you're putting your money, right?
Yes,
These are
it
just
is
like 2 years. You got to make the most of every opportunity that comes your way.
exactly. And there's also this thing that always helped me, which was so that I don't feel guilty or I feel like I'm restricting myself. There used to be this thing called fun money or like, fun budget, where
Okay.
this is like if I want to go somewhere or I want to just visit Central Park now, I need to commute. So there's the ticket price.
Hmm.
Then Central Park calls for a hot chocolate or a coffee. So it's like, or whatever you feel good about, or whatever you want to, eat or drink, up to you. So this fun budget was where for impulsive expenses. It's like, okay, now I want to go there. I still have this much budget left, so I can take this impulsive trip. I can go on this place. I can go try this food. So making like just tricking your mind into thinking that, okay, this is something that I did impulsive, but at the end, it was your fun budget. You already budgeted for it. You had a budget. So it's like you're still doing it. It's
Yeah, it's like you're rewarding your good work, your good
yes.
decisions, that and not feeling sad about making the cuts, but yet enjoying in your own space and then thinking wisely.
Yeah, it's also about like you come all the way here. It shouldn't also be like you're always,
Live
only
on money.
working, only doing it, but you should live, right? Not just survive, but also live the experience. Because I feel like this is a huge opportunity for you to learn other cultures as well, other people as well.
So try those cuisines, but also know that once in a week, if you want to experiment, whatever, Chinese or Korean, or I'm even forgetting, maybe Mexican. But then the other
Yeah.
days, make that dal at home
Italian.
or the sabzi at home, and then be wise, but yet have fun. All right, moving on. Kind of sensitive topic, which is loneliness. The part nobody really posts because it's hustle running around everywhere. And frankly, I feel you and I have had those days. So I want you to share, how did you deal with the days where this country felt too big, too far, and maybe a bit too much?
That is a very heavy question, I would say. It's because there are these moments, right? You feel lonely, but actually you're not. You're in a
Hmm.
room filled with people, and all of a sudden it hits you that
Yeah.
all my family is back home. What am I doing here?
Hmm.
Even though you know what you're doing here, it's like you keep
Major
thinking,
mistake.
am I supposed to be at home? Or during winters, like especially right now, it's like, if I was at home, maybe I would be having chai with mom
Yeah.
or going and maybe having some street food with my sister
Yeah.
or just going on a ride to the beach. I know winter beach, but it's like if you're near beach, you have to go to beach. It's like that.
Yeah.
But not have to, but you will want to.
Yeah.
So it is understanding that you're here on a purpose.
Hmm.
You when you have a strong why on why you're here, like, okay, I came here because I want to excel in life. I want to improve myself. I want to genuinely learn whichever course you're doing, and this is what I'm interested in. So this is what I'm learning about. I want to
Hmm.
genuinely understand people. When your why is strong enough,
Mhm.
first you need to accept that there will be these moments where you will feel low, where you will feel homesick, where
Hmm.
you will feel lonely
Hmm.
because life gets in the way and
Yeah.
everyone is dealing with their own things and
Yeah.
everyone is in their own zone. So
Hmm.
maybe one day, even though you have different groups of people that you're hanging out with, maybe one day, all of a sudden, it's like you have no one around you. Now you
Hmm.
are drawn into these sea of thoughts.
Yeah.
But then
Oh my
you
God, I
have
think
these,
my last semester was like majorly like that. Well,
yeah.
but yeah,
Last semester is like everyone is, looking for a job or everyone is trying
it
to
gets
wrap up their
overwhelming.
final
Yeah.
projects. So everyone feels lonely. Everyone needs that comfort, but it's
Right.
like they don't have the energy to be with someone, be with a
Yeah.
friend, like stay there. I think for me, it was specifically with respect to loneliness, it was like taking walks, short
Hmm.
walks within here, or having rituals
Hmm.
where I have these conversations with family, or, you know, going to these places that remind me of home,
Hmm.
making myself acquainted with places around here where I can go and I'm like, where I can de-stress.
Yeah.
Or it is like, and it's also all of us start feeling lonely in a certain way.
Yeah.
This is a very sensitive topic where we have to be careful in uh, how we are talking about it as well, because
Hmm.
for some, the intensity can be too much. For
Hmm.
some, it can be a little less. So it all comes down to where, again, friends and support system
Support system.
come
And
up
also,
our
I
early.
mean, the good thing is, even at the university, you have support systems. You can talk to people. There are support groups. But like the point that we mentioned, that distinguish from your set of people who are your core group, people you can confide into and share what you're feeling. And then, of course, your family with whom you talk across the managing the time difference also. And then know that it's you who got you here, so you have that ability, keep reminding yourself, and that also that life is so much more bigger, and this is just a phase. I
Yes,
think this is something that everybody needs to keep reminding, even when we feel about the job or the pressure, that this is just one particular portion of your entire life. and there's so much more to it. So while it's important to be focused and keep doing what you're doing, but then at the same time, that it's all gonna fall in the right place. So talk to that friend of yours, or go watch a movie if you're feeling overwhelmed, or speak to a friend. Those are some of the ways that I would think.
Yes. And as I said earlier, as this is a very sensitive topic, even sometimes when we do everything that is like a dopamine menu, or talking, like when we talk to a friend, we feel comfortable, or when we're going on a walk, we feel comfortable, or when we are doing something we love, we feel good. But I think sometimes when it is too much, you need to seek out help, or,
Yeah.
you will have to, there are different ways that you can do that. The reason I didn't touch upon that is because personally, I feel like I do not have the complete information to share
Oh,
about that.
this was actually just from a perspective that even though you're doing everything that is required on your part, sometimes you just feel um, that you're in this rat race, right? So you stop enjoying, and it initially starts with enjoyment, then it becomes a routine, and then some days it gets monotonous because you're like, I've been doing it for a while, but I don't see the results and things like that. Or just attending the events also gets too much to you. Then on those days, have people you can talk to, or order that pizza you've been thinking for a while, and just have a good time. Sit with your friends, watch that movie, take it easy. All
Exactly.
right, then moving on to the next topic, which is about cultural shock, which is, of course, our daily entertainment. Well, let's talk about adapting. The communication style, the professionalism, boundaries, everything. What hit you the hardest, and then how did you navigate from it?
One is the crisp feedback, New Yorker style, where you ask for something, it's a yes or a no. No explanations. It is a cultural shock. Like how we are conditioned where we try to explain ourselves, and it's like when you say no, I still do that. It's like, no, because this, and this. But you get a simple no. I'm like, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it. But it was also like when I'm lost in Manhattan and I'm looking for directions, I ask a stranger, they literally pull out their Google map, show like this is how you have to go. You have to take the subway so that you're able to reach here. Then you have to walk. So it is a mix of kindness and also, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say blunt, but it
Upfront,
was
like
also,
stern.
yes, yes.
Um,
So,
yeah, I think it's more in the culture. Like you said, we're in this habit of very add more words. I won't say over explain, but I think वो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, we do व्याख्या, like
hmm,
explain it in more words. But yeah, that's a cultural difference. But I also feel maybe this is the way of looking at things, that the fact that you're exposed to a lot of cultures when it comes to New York is the beauty of it. Because that's the reason why you came here all the way, because you wanted those energy, those people to rub on you, because you gain from everyone's personality the more you're exposed to, right?
yes. And it is also like everyone is minding their own business.
Hmm.
You know, it is freeing and confusing, but it's like everyone does their own thing. You could do anything of your own. So now it's like, okay, there's no eyes on me. I can do whatever. And some days, going back to the loneliness part, when you're feeling lonely and when you want to talk, it's
Yeah.
like confusing. Oh, I don't have anyone to talk. Or
Yeah.
I can't reach out to one person. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. You're still, when you're reaching out to a stranger, there is this little fear like, do I have to talk? Do I not have to talk?
Yeah.
So I think that was one more culture shock where I wouldn't say a complete culture shock, but it was like everyone minds their own business, which
Yeah.
is a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing, but a mix of it, depending
And
on
I
the
feel like,
situation.
yeah, I also feel like as you start living there, um, you start understanding, and you start reciprocating, and it gradually starts blending in your own personality.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Moving on to the second last question of this episode, which is identity shift. The version of you that New York forces you to meet. And I always say living abroad strips you down and rebuilds you. So, who did you become here that you did not expect before?
Right. So I was always this person, right, where I love to talk, like have that conversation.
Mm,
What New York made me is, yes, you want to have a conversation, but people don't have time for that.
mm,
You
mm,
need to consolidate it. So,
mm,
not in a bad way, but it is like you need to be super clear with your communication, you know?
mm.
Like your
Save
words
the
have to be
time.
shorter.
Yeah. Crisp and
Your
yeah.
yes, short and crisp. It's like
Mm,
need to communicate super, super clear that they get your point in one sentence or just
mm,
few words and they respond to you the same way.
yeah.
Maybe later, when you're meeting them or when you're meeting virtually, you will have a conversation. But knowing that I need to cut all of myself down to one word where I'm someone who loves writing or who loves doing a video where I'm talking or sharing it with my whole heart. It was so hard for me to, even sometimes when like we're going somewhere or there's something that we need to discuss just in between friends and everything, they're like, bro, if you wanna talk, like talk, but not right now. Let us go talk, get it done. Later we'll do the nurturing part. And I'm like, okay, fine. But that was the identity shift, or it was like, okay, I need to cut it down. The second thing was the independence, becoming self-dependent. I feel like it is independence or self-dependent. It is understanding that you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
No one is
Yeah.
coming and doing that for you.
Yeah.
And you know how it is at home, right? We are pampered. Everything
No,
is already done for us.
everything is taken care of literally, like nothing you have to do. And
Yeah.
we're spoiled with it also, I feel. But even if I have to answer, I think this was my answer that you become um you get into this mode that whatever comes my way, I'll figure it out. And like you said, that you yourself are responsible. So whether you do groceries, whether you do your laundry, or you have assignments, you will figure it all out. You will learn how
Yeah.
to prioritize what when. I think in one some way I feel you become more sharper and
Yes.
more
It is. And it's
self-aware
also,
habits wise
you
also.
learn on the go, right? It's like
Learn on the go. Yeah.
you understand that slowly, not in one go. Initially, it might kind of sadden you. But
Yeah.
as we were discussing earlier, you need to take out the sad part of it and learn from it.
Yeah, I mean, live it all up. That's the reason you're here, and it's all for good. You're learning so much about your personality. You're picking up cues and sharpening your racks. These are the things that you want to do, right? Alrighty, super excited. We've come to the last question of the segment, and let's talk about being unapologetically you abroad. You've always had this calm, grounded vibe, but you also have this I know who I am kind of energy. So, where did that come from, or was it built here?
Um, it is I mean, it is an ironical question right now when you said the I know
Okay.
who I am energy, because it is like, so first I had this sentence when you asked about unapologetic me. There was this phase of 3 months where it was now I'm only gonna be unapologetically me.
Mm,
I'm not going to think so much before. Like I think so much about like friends or something where like they might get hurt, so I'm gonna take a 2 hour commute so that I could be there. But
yeah.
it became so much that why? Like there is so much that I'm trying to do, but what if it is not getting resonated?
Mm,
So there was
mm,
this phase being unapologetically me. That's why I love the title. The other sentence is, which you just said earlier in the last, like second last question, when during our discussion, which was my one-liner, which was everything is figure outable.
yeah.
So that is always here. Everything is figure outable. And the I know who I am energy is like, a very ironical question because when we are putting ourselves out there, it might look like, okay, she knows what she's doing,
Hmm.
like she knows who she is. But there's also this journey for everyone within themselves where you're still figuring out who you are. There is who
Hmm.
you are,
Hmm.
there is who you want to be, there is that journey. But
Hmm.
from transitioning from India to the US and like to New York, it was built here.
Hmm.
The confidence and everything, it was there, but it was, how would I put? I would maybe rebrand it, where it
Yeah.
is like, I knew it. I always
Hmm.
knew who I am. I knew what I want to do, but in a different font,
Yeah.
in a different text, in a different way. So that energy is like New York is giving it, right?
Yeah.
There are people always doing something. Everyone wants to do something. Everyone has these goals, these big dreams. And when you're surrounded with people like that,
Yeah.
you become someone like that, where you are
Yeah.
on it and you are like literally having these beautiful conversations, these amazing experiences. There was this one subway conversation that I had, and we ended up connecting on LinkedIn, and we
Hmm.
still stay in touch.
Hmm.
He's an
I've
amazing
met those
person.
yeah. I mean, I remember I was once taking the subway to my class, and I met this gentleman who was probably going to say working at Apple or somewhere. And we connected, and that's how we built up the conversation. And immediately it was like LinkedIn, because that's your first go to. How do I connect? Okay, let's do LinkedIn. But again, like those are the kind of conversations, and that happens because you put yourself out there. So that is you being unapologetically you, that I want to learn from you. And I'm not scared of asking the question, or I'm not scared of making the first move, because I'm here to learn, and I'm here to benefit from every conversation that I can. So,
Yes.
very nicely done. All right. I've had great fun recording this episode, and this is also the first of the kind where we're doing the conversation and not really the question answer round. um, and I'm pretty sure everyone who's going to watch and listen is going to make a lot of notes, is going to be helpful for people who are currently in the school, or who are planning to be in the school, or somebody who just wants to get a sense of a life abroad. What are your thoughts?
I feel like this is a much needed conversation where we genuinely touched upon, different aspects.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, as we started this episode with, which was look at the glamorous aspect of it and come with a lot of hopes.
Yeah.
But there's also other side to it, which you need to be ready
Yeah.
to live through that experience.
Yeah.
It is about being prepared to go through that experience, which a lot of people do not talk about, which you do not see on the internet.
Hmm.
But there is a lot of work that you put in the background that makes you show up
Think we
wherever
gave a
you're showing up.
structure for making the most of the time that you're going to be as a student, or and how you can have a fantastic experience, which means both enjoying the city and everything that it has to offer, and making the most of your resources. Being mindful, intentional is the word which we've used multiple times. um, so thank you for your time, Sneha. I absolutely enjoyed, and I'm so grateful that we were able to peruse some time through your calendar.
Thank you so much for having me, Ekta. This is my first time speaking in a podcast.
Oh, wow.
Uh, there was this year I was manifesting this. Thank you so much for making this happen because
Okay.
in April, there was an in-person event that I got to be a speaker. First time in a panel. Then I was like, what if I could also be on a podcast? And
I am
thank you
so glad.
so much for that. It was amazing talking through the episode and also the entire experience before the conversation
Yeah. I
actually
kind of feel like I
started.
lived the New York experience all together with you. We spoke about Bryant Park and everywhere also, while also talking about classes, and we touched about a lot of elements. So it was so much
Yes,
more fun.
perfect.
All right. Now, if you're listening to this and planning to move abroad, or already living abroad, here's the truth: it's not perfect. It's not aesthetic, it's not always kind. But with the right people, the right effort, and the right mindset, it becomes the most transformative chapter of your life. So, Sneha, thank you for being honest, real, and exactly who you are. And to everyone else, welcome to Unapologetic Me, where we say it exactly how we live it. Until next time, this is your host, Ekta, signing off. I'll see you in the next one.